We will preview the girls' lacrosse season and then get an opportunity to talk to head coach Ashley Swenson. New Cardinal baseball coach Matt Mossy joins us to give his thoughts on the baseball program as well. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. We're still waiting to get that spring season started.
Yeah, we are definitely still waiting for spring to arrive. Every sport now has been delayed at least 1 to 2 weeks. The lacrosse season supposed to start on Friday of this week. That has already been delayed, and we just learned today we had planned on coming in and doing previews of the two lacrosse programs, but we just learned today that the Cardinals have decided to forego their boys lacrosse varsity season.
You know, it was surprising to us, but not as surprising to the people who were involved in the program. They just didn't have the numbers. I think just 25 players, and they were concerned that they wouldn't have enough players to field the varsity team. If they had lost a player, they were going to have some issues. So what they decided to do is temporarily scrap the season for this season and play just JV ball or lacrosse and go and play all their games at the stadium. So at least this way, everybody gets a chance to play, and they'll hopefully continue to build for next year. Talking to Coach Weber, said, you know, this isn't a negative thing. This is a positive for me, because he kind of knew that he was going to be in this situation going into the season. So this is an opportunity for them to kind of regroup and rebuild.
Yeah, and that is definitely the hope, that maybe a little bit of recruiting, they'll bring in some more numbers, and next year they'll have a few more bodies and a little more talent, a little more experience coming out of what will be a JV season this year. You know, it's sad for especially the seniors, the veteran returners, but a decision that probably in the end we hope will turn out to be a positive for the program.
Yeah, I think just a couple of seniors on the squad, but you know, nonetheless, they're going into the season thinking, well, we're going to play varsity lacrosse, and unfortunately, the program just didn't get to where they needed to be. But playing JV, they'll still play at the stadium. They'll still get a lot of minutes. They'll still, you know, probably be fairly successful at the JV level, and they'll build for next season.
Well, and on the flip side, the girls lacrosse program, very healthy and looking forward to another big year.
Yeah, we would hope so. And the girls lacrosse has been one of the most successful teams at Coon Rapids High School since becoming a varsity sport 10 years ago, and now they open a new chapter. Jeff DeJoy built a program that enjoyed a lot of success and was frequently ranked among the state's best. When he retired, the school was fortunate to find a veteran coach that will bring a lot of experience, and the Cardinals will hopefully reach new heights.
I think she's going to be a great coach. I think we're getting along with her great, and we're like adjusting with her great.
It's never easy to bring in a new coach, but so far it's been a smooth transition as Ashley Swenson comes in to take over the Cardinals program.
They have been excited and happy and willing to do pretty much whatever I throw at them, so that's great.
Swenson was born in Minnesota but grew up in Maryland playing lacrosse and field hockey. She returned to the Land of Lakes to play lacrosse at the University of Minnesota, and she's been coaching for more than a decade, so she brings a lot of knowledge and experience to the position.
I think she has a lot more like knowledge of the sport, especially from her like playing it in like her youth and stuff. So coming to Minnesota and like playing club at the U of M, and she just has like a lot of like more ideas and drills and stuff, so I'm excited for the season.
The Cardinals have been limited by the weather and confined to the field house, but they're making the best of it. While there's a lot of stuff they can't work on, one thing they can is conditioning. It's a priority for Coach Swenson, and the girls are learning quickly that she is going to push them every practice.
I tried to tell them that the expectation was going to be there, and it's a 50-minute game, and it's played running. And you don't want to be slower than your opponent, and you play better when you're well conditioned. You start making mistakes when you're not conditioned and the ball hits the ground more.
The Cardinals are doing what they can to work on the fundamentals of the game as well. Coach Swenson really wants to make sure that every player can play every position, which will make them a more balanced and dangerous team.
We're definitely all going to be working more on defense all together and all on offense together, so we'll all improve in every category instead of just one person on one thing. We'll be more versatile players, I think.
The Cardinals finished last season with a 9-6 record, but they're really hoping they can improve on their position in the conference. They lost a handful of seniors, but they're confident they have the pieces they need to keep moving forward.
We have a lot of young girls that are very good and a lot of fast players, so I think we can use that to our advantage this year.
The Cardinals want to rack up the wins this season, return to the top of the conference standings, and hopefully get over the hump and finally advance to state. But the wins aren't what Coach Swenson wants most for her players.
I'm looking for the girls to really enjoy themselves. My fondest memories weren't the big wins playing lacrosse. It was my teammates and that camaraderie, and growing close with my friends and growing close with people that weren't my friends. That's most important.
So the lacrosse season for the girls hopefully starting on Monday. We keep our fingers crossed. Predicted for some snowfall this weekend, which could delay that even further. But eventually we will get a season underway. And now we are fortunate enough to be joined by Coach Swenson. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
First question, you grew up out east,
yes.
Playing lacrosse where it's a big deal out there. What was your thought when you moved back here to play at the University of Minnesota and kind of saw how quickly it grew?
It's amazing. And I grew up playing and loving the sport, and I was happy that it spread, and that there were people now in this state that also are learning to love the game. And the women that I played with at the University of Minnesota were very much pioneers for that program. They started the program, and they came from different backgrounds and different schools, and made a really strong program that continues to be strong. And so I'm proud. I'm proud that I was able to be a part of that.
Obviously this has been an unusual spring season, to say the least. How is it going to affect your squad, basically being indoors, and possibly the first time you take the field this year will be in an actual game?
There's going to be a lot of adjustment. And one thing that I've asked for the girls multiple times this year is for grace and understanding, not only because of the weather, but because I'm new to them. And they're going to be learning about me and things that I'm going to be putting into place. And I'm probably going to be shaking things up. And that's not always easy to accept. So it's going to be a trial, and it's going to be learning. And there's a good chance halfway through the game we have to completely switch things up because it's not working. And we didn't know that because we haven't seen the grass in a long time.
You do have the fortune to take over a program that has seen a lot of success in its short time. Over 100 wins in just 9 seasons, which is saying a lot when you only have 13 regular season games. Mm-hmm. This is a program that over the years has almost always been top 10 in defense. They've had a couple of conference championships. How do you take what they have, the culture that they have, and make it continue to go forward?
I think that our biggest goal right now is to continue to encourage a youth involvement. Getting girls out there playing and picking up sticks before high school is what's really going to be detrimental to the program. If you want to stay competitive, especially in the state with how quickly the program's gone, it's grown and gained momentum, and kids are starting to play at 5, 6, 7 years old. And so that's one of our big goals right now is, not only to continue to refine the girls that we have in high school, but to encourage the girls that are not in high school yet to pick up a stick and start playing the game.
You're new to this program, and obviously new to the girls as well.
Yes.
What's been the biggest surprise for you as you've watched this last couple of weeks of practice in terms of what you have on this squad?
Their teamwork is amazing, the camaraderie that they have. You can tell a lot from girls by watching them play, and unfortunately I haven't been able to watch them play. Today was actually the first time that I was able to kind of set up some sort of interactive play with one another. And so not being able to see that and just really running drills with them, they're athletes, that's a given. But they truly are, they enjoy being around one another. And that you can't force and you can't make up. And to see that doing these monotonous, mundane drills that I have them doing is really refreshing, and that's something I really look forward to. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, and you were able to get out to adrenaline where you're playing on turf, mm-hmm. and a little more realistic. That's going to be a great benefit after having a whole week. But so much to accomplish. What do you hope most to get out of this week before, like you said, possibly getting outside for the first time in a competition? Just
gameplay. You can do drills after drill after drill, until you're blue in the face. But until you get some of that real life momentum and gameplay, things don't really necessarily click yet. And so taking the time on both levels, on both JV and varsity, and saying, all right, we're going to put you in a game-like situation, and we're going to run it, and we're going to stop, and we're going to move some things around, and then we're going to get up and we're going to do it again. So, just a lot of repetition, putting yourself in different situations, and a lot of touches on the ball. And, that's most realistic, given what we have to work with. It's just, show me what you got, and let's work with that, and we'll see what happens. It's interesting to see, to say the least.
You talked about how much of you put on conditioning. How have the girls reacted to what you've brought to the program in terms, just in that area, and just of conditioning and being ready to take the field?
Surprisingly, they've thanked me. They're not thanking me while we're doing it, but they have thanked me, and they're appreciative of it. And I think they know what it takes to be on the field, and what it requires on their body, and by doing it now. It's going to ease them into the season quicker, which we need.
Now, you played all the way through college. You have coached now for a number of years. Mm-hmm. Coaching is not the same as playing.
No.
What in the last 8 to 10 years of coaching have you learned about how to be a better coach that is going to help you start a little better, maybe with the Cardinal program?
The biggest thing is being relatable, and truly understanding where the girls are coming from. It's not the easiest time of life, high school, and preparing to go off to college, and gaining independence, but still being dependent, and so making it where I truly want them to forge a bond with myself. I was a high school player. I was a high school athlete. I was approaching college age at one time. And so continuing to remind myself that also, that while they are young adults, they are also still children, and to allow them to be so and not put these high expectations on them. It's very easy as a coach to say, this is what I want. I want this, and I want it done this way, and I want it done right now, when that's not always the most realistic thing. And so by allowing myself and taking a step back, and to really, get to know the girls and get to know their personalities, and create a bond with them, I think that makes me a stronger coach, and I think that makes a stronger program, because the girls are comfortable. They're not afraid of me. They're not afraid to go to practice, and they're not afraid to mess up. So I think that's one thing that is definitely top of my list for this season.
Obviously, you have goals for yourself and for the team. Mm-hmm. Wins and losses aside, when you look back at this season at the end of the year, what do you think it takes for you to have a successful season?
I think staying injury-free. That's always a number one goal. Is no one wants to see anyone hurt and on the sidelines. Successful season is really having the girls finish out the season, and finish out strong, regardless of what the future holds. Playing till the very end. And playing their best till the very end, and enjoying it while doing so. As long as the girls enjoyed the season and learned, if nothing about lacrosse, maybe something about themselves, then I think that'd be a very successful season for myself.
Well, we are glad to have you. And from talking to the girls, it sounds like early on they're very excited to be working with you and have you as the new head coach. Sure. We look forward to working with you.
Yes, thank you.
Moving forward here at CTN, and we hopefully will get spring weather and actually get to play soon.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Right.
Fingers crossed.
Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to take a short break, and then we will come back with new head baseball coach Matt Mossy. You're watching CTN's Sports Night.
Deep downfield, Milwaukee behind the defense has the catch, and he is gone.
Great showing in the 100 butterfly, but you can't quite catch the leader.
And it's hard to throw you for a loop.
No, not when it comes to swimming. Welcome back to Sports Night, second half of our mid-spring season preview opener. We're joined now by baseball head coach Matt Mosley. Thanks for being with us. And first, congratulations on getting the job.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys, and thank you.
First of all, what does it mean to you? Obviously a program that you came up playing in. You've been coaching for a number of years with Jerry Coe. What does it mean for you to now be the head coach?
It's really special to me. Like you said, I came up in this program. I keep it near and dear in my heart. It's something I'm passionate about. It's a program I want to see flourish like it has, and I want to see continue on with a strong tradition that's been laid in front of me, and want to keep that strong.
You talked about putting your own stamp on this program. Talk a little bit about that, what that means to you and to this baseball program.
We were just talking about it today at practice with the boys. We want to play with great energy and effort. We want to finish every play, and we want to play with some aggressiveness. We want to push the envelope. We want to steal. We want to hit and run. We want to take extra bases when we can. We want to make routine plays on defense and apply pressure on offense and on defense when we can.
Now, obviously, stuck inside, a lot of gym work. You've been able to get out to pitch, so you get a little better feel. Today, you had a little kind of head-to-head meeting with Champlin Park. How'd that go, and what did you think about what you saw today?
It went well. We had a good kind of varsity JV matchup with Champlin Park there. Had 4 different mounds going, a couple JV mounds, a couple varsity mounds. So got to see what our pitchers can do against some different hitters, not our own, and got to see what where our hitters stack up against one of the top teams in our conference. Saw some good things, saw some things we definitely need to keep working on, but it was a little bit something different than being stuck in a gym today. We got to kind of open it up a little bit more.
That's your typical start to the season with the weather being the way it is, but you talked about some good things. What are some of the things that you feel going into the season are going to be your strength?
We're going to be strong on the mound. I really like the way our 4 senior starters threw today. We tried to talk to them about limiting walks. We pounded the strike zone today, mixed all 3 pitches in for strikes, and they had some good results. But a lot of the work has been laid out by our coaching staff and myself in the gym here. And the kids are really taken to it. So they pounded the strike zone. Couldn't see much defense today. Obviously, we didn't have any going, but I think we'll also be pretty strong defensively with a strong middle infield and a good solid catcher back there too.
Well, and you talk about how strong you have to be on the mound and depth you're going to need to have with the start getting pushed further and further back. That means games are going to be jammed up. What do you think about looking a little deeper into your bullpen?
Got some proven guys there, but there'll be some guys who are raring to step up. The guys who threw in the JV scrimmage today threw very well as well. They pounded the strike zone like our varsity pitchers did. They were mixing in off-speed pitches for strikes, and they kept those Champlin hitters off balance for the duration of it. All the guys who threw down there, I was very impressed. So if they need to step into those roles, I think they'll be ready to go, and hopefully they're ready to step in and make a contribution and make an impact.
You talked about your pitching being a strength. Talk a little bit about your offense and what you look for this season in terms of getting going. Obviously, you're not outside yet, but talk a little bit about what you feel is the strength in your batting order.
We've been talking about with the guys of being tough outs, whether it's working a walk. Obviously, we'd love to see a lot of base hits, but being a tough out, make that pitcher throw a lot of pitches. The results aren't always going to be what you want, but let's have a positive result. We hit that ball hard. We moved a runner with that. So we need to have good situational hitting. We have some good seniors who are going to be in the middle of our lineup with Nick Lockinen, Bryce Peterson, and Caleb Ness. All 3 of those guys hit very well American Legion season last summer. And those 3 left-handed bats should carry the middle of our order. Kirby Peria Jr. should kind of stir the drink at the top of the lineup. He is the epitome of a tough out, and he can move a little bit on the bases. And Jackson Bates, our starting shortstop, should be another guy we need to rely on. Those are kind of our core, and they know how we want to do things, and I look for them to lead our lineup.
Now you talk about the strength in this conference, and it comes up every year. I mean, you're going to have some very tough, very high quality programs, Fortunately, everybody is dealing with the late start and will deal with having to have that really deep bullpen. But what do you need to see your guys do better in order to, 6-6 or right around 500 in the conference last year? What do you need to do to move up?
We need to make outs or make the other team make more outs than we give them. We made a lot of errors last year. We gave a lot of teams extra outs by walking people. And like I said, our strength is our pitching, and they need to be strong. They need to attack, and we need to limit the free bases, the free outs, and force other teams to beat us with, with base hits and with, extra base hits. We can't really defend a walk. We need to take advantage of that, and we need to. We need our pitchers to really set the tone, and our defense are going to make routine plays behind them.
Talk a little bit about your coaching staff. Obviously, Don Bright's back, and you've got some coaches that are familiar with this program that have played here, and also some that have not. Talk a little bit about your coaching staff and how they relate to you and what they bring to this program.
Don Bright is back, like you said. 25 years in this program, starting 26 here. He's invaluable. He was one of my best coaches growing up, and I hold him in a special place. I kind of told him he can stay on as long as he wants. He needs to, he gets to go out in his own will there. Brett Boxwell, who he's been an assistant with us, he's helped me with the American Legion. He's an 07 graduate of Coon Rapids. Tremendous knowledge of the game, relates well to the kids, brings a little bit different focus on some things, and he's great help in the varsity dugout. Our JV coaching staff, Steve Schreier, another Coon Rapids graduate, 2008 state champion. He's been great with our pitchers. He's seen it. He knows what to do, and he's kind of bounced around as a college player, and he's been in a lot of situations that these kids haven't, and he can relate to them very well. We have a new staff member joining us, Ryan Sutterer. He's an Anoka graduate. He played at University of Northwestern. He hits. He knows how to teach hitters. He does very well with that. So it allows me to either have a little bit more of a broader focus on things rather than just kind of hone in on pitching and infield like I have the last couple of years, where my main focus now can be on what's good for everyone here.
Well, and that would be my next question really is, you've been in the program for a number of years as an assistant. What has been the biggest challenge or the biggest transition for you to move into that head coaching spot?
Not being outside. No, it's the scheduling aspect, making sure 9 through 12, everyone has something to do every single day. Planning out practices for everyone, not just a small portion of the pitchers, which I would plan a lot for over the years under Coach Coe. Now it's making sure the 9th graders are on same page as the varsity kids, because there's going to be some movement between 9, 10, 10, 11, and 12. Amongst the team, so everyone needs to be on the same page, and just that broader focus of having to worry about a bigger group rather than just a small group that I have in the past.
Being indoors has got to be frustrating for you and certainly for the guys. Talk about how they've been reacting to the fact that obviously you've been going to pitch and you've been in the gym. How has their attitude been at this point in the season?
Their attitude's been great. We've been talking about bringing energy every day, and there has been great energy at everyone. There's a different vibe around the team than there has been the last couple of years. They're excited to be at practice, even though we're in the gym. They're excited to work on some different things. They're excited to push the envelope a little bit, and they're doing their best with us being indoors. And I know they want to get outside. We're going to start mixing in some different things, whether it's a wiffle ball game or giving them just an off day, or the scrimmage like we did today. I'm going to try to get another one of those next week if we're not outside by then, and just trying to mix it up, but we want them to keep that energy up.
Long history of this program, a lot of success. You talked about state championship in 2008, a number of conference championships, section championships as well. And really, you're technically the 4th coach, but the one coach was only 1 year between Sundstrom and Co. So the majority of that success and that tradition has been built by Ken Sundstrom and Jerry Co. Talk about carrying on that type of tradition, I guess.
Big shoes to fill, obviously. Ken has a plaque on the back of the dugout. Jerry soon will. I'm sure the school district will put that up, or the school will at some point. But you know, we have T-shirts in the program that say "Tradition Never Graduates" on the back of them, and it lists all the conference championships, the section championships, the state tournament appearances, and I wanted to continue that on. I wanted the kids to see that. Not necessarily everyone knows about it coming in. They just know, oh, we've played, a lot of good baseball here. Well, then they see that, and you see some of the kids like, what, really? And it's like, we said on the first day, let's put some extra numbers on the back of that shirt this year. And that's kind of going to be our goal, whether it's a conference championship, section championship, hopefully a state tournament appearance. But those things all need to be taken care of one game at a time. And the kids are starting to buy into that. They're starting to buy into just one day at a time, whether it's this practice we get better, next practice we need to get better at this. And that's kind of the tradition I want to start pushing, is better every day.
You talk a little bit about the conference and where you think you stack up in the conference, and where you see eventually down the road, or this year, where you see your place.
I'd like to say we're in the top half of that conference. It's big, it's tough. Everyone's got one or two strong pitchers. Blaine and Champlin and Maple Grove have been very good the last few years, and they'll continue to be very good the next few years as well. Champlin was tough today, what we saw out of them, and we didn't even see their 1 and 2 today. We were both very good pitchers. Maple Grove always is tough. They play an aggressive style. They put pressure on defenses, and they have guys who can always pitch. Blaine, went to a couple state tournaments here. They were very successful in the American Legion summer last year, so they're kind of the team to beat right now. I think we stack up very well against all of them, but like we talked about, we have to bring it every day.
Overall, what do you look for most out of this first season? That's a tough one.
Yeah, throwing me a curveball there. I'm not gonna kind of gauge it on win and losses. I'm gonna gauge it more day to day. Did the kids have a good experience? Did the kids get better? Are we pushing towards the things that I want to see in the future? Are we gaining ground at those goals? Whether it is, if our goal is to go to a state tournament, okay, is it this year, or is it the year after? Is it the year after that? Are we gaining ground on those goals? Are these kids learning how to be good baseball players and strong young men? It goes beyond baseball with a lot of my goals, but it's turning out quality human beings here too.
All right. Well, we are glad to have you. Congratulations on getting the job, and thanks for joining us here today. But we are out of time. Want to thank everybody out there for joining us for yet another edition of Sports Night. Not quite sure when we'll be back. We need Mother Nature to cooperate to get some spring sports in, but we will definitely be with you throughout this spring sports season at Coon Rapids. So thanks again for joining us. Another edition of Sports Night. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Alex Shapiro, I'm Joe Young, saying good night.